Hey, we are back again,
Today,
literally.
today.
Literally, it's back to back right now. We're on a roll.
Yeah,
Notice we got the same clothes on. Mind your business. Mind your business.
today, like,
Yeah,
Tisha
yeah.
and I, we have busy schedules. So if I can grab, I'm gonna grab Tisha.
Don't make it seem like I
It's both
can't
of
be
us. It's
caught.
both of us. It's both
Yes, I
of us.
mean, you obviously have things going on. You've got work and
Too.
things that pull you too. So yeah, whenever we find a mutual time, we go ahead, we sit down, and we we get it done. So just wanted to give you that disclaimer. Why we got the same? That's why. Mind your business.
Mhm.
Okay. So, welcome back to another episode of P-Tax Chat, PTC, where we talk about everything. So, finances, relationships, dating. We sprinkle in those 30s, we sprinkle in
Adulthood.
adulthood, and everything that, like, in between from A to Z, you
Mhm.
name it, we touch on it. And so, in honor of May being Mental Health Awareness Month, we definitely want to make sure that we're shining light on very relevant conversations and topics. Some of these topics are difficult to swallow, hard to stomach, not easy to have. So, we want to provide those trigger warnings at the beginning of the episode. Make sure that if anything triggers you or it's a little bit uncomfortable for you, take care of yourself. Feel free to step away, close it, pause it, watch it another time, or maybe you're not able to watch it right now, and that's okay too. All right. We're welcoming you into this safe space where we have some very candid conversations. I want to kind of preface this conversation with the fact that we're going to be talking about some very personal experiences. Um, and that takes courage. So please make sure that you provide us with the grace that we need to continue having conversations like this. And we hope that this touches someone. Maybe this helps someone. Maybe this gives someone the courage to also open up and talk about their experiences. So, with that said, I'm going to now hush. I'm going to pass it over. You want to go ahead and introduce the topic for today, Tori?
Today we are discussing, you know, suicide. Suicide. It can happen in many, many ways. Not, cutting. There are different forms for attempted to
So,
harm.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I, out of habit, I tend to sign suicide, just habit. But there
That's
are
the one I learned too.
the
But this is an educational moment.
mhm,
So if we are not signing that correctly, please do let us know.
mhm.
Let us know. Share, maybe a video or send us something to educate us and let us know how to appropriately sign that. For this conversation, based on what we know today, we're going to proceed with the sign suicide or self harm
Yeah.
or unaliving oneself. You'll hear those terms and phrases, they are synonymous. So, yes, I just wanted to give you guys that. So good. Thank you for raising that point.
Mhm. So I just want to let you know where I'm coming from, and I don't want to trigger you in the wrong way. It's just my son.
Yeah.
So with that being said, self-harming, suicide attempts, and that's what we will talk about today. And I think these conversations are really important to have. And
Necessary.
yeah, we don't have them often in our community. And I think it's a very silent battle. It's a very internal battle. And it's hard to kind of highlight and be like this is what I I'm going through, and this is how I feel. And often people are like, brush it under the rug, like, that's not how you feel. But I'm literally spelling out how I feel. This is how I feel. I'm in a really dark place right now, and I'm struggling to get out of that place, and it's really hard. So what do we
Yeah.
do with that? How do we navigate that?
Mm,
Who
that's a loaded question.
who is your safe space? And be mindful that some people don't have the safe, trusted space to tell someone how they're really feeling.
Yes, yes to everything you just said. I agree 100%. This conversation is not had enough. There's not a lot of space oftentimes to have these types of conversations. And like you mentioned, sometimes people don't have trusted folks in their lives that maybe they feel comfortable enough to open up about their experiences or their thoughts or their feelings. Um, it's not easy. It's not. Um, I'm trying to mentally prepare myself for this conversation because you have to become very vulnerable, and I don't like that sign, but
Vulnerable,
vulnerable.
vulnerable.
Yeah, vulnerable. See, this sign is weak,
We
but
vulnerable, vulnerable.
vulnerability is not a sign of weakness. Yeah, maybe yeah, transparent. I like that better. Um First, I'm gonna just say, raise your hand if you've ever had a moment where you had dark thoughts or thoughts of harming yourself. I have. I have. That's not easy to do. It's not, but you'd be surprised. Most of us at some point in our lives have had maybe this moment or a period of time in our lives where we were struggling mentally with the idea, the concept of continuing life as it was. Oftentimes when you are faced with that feeling or those thoughts, it's hard to imagine how to get out of that. It seems like that is the answer. And oftentimes, you may have already explored other things or tried other things, and you feel depleted. You feel like enough is enough. I don't have any more energy. I don't have any more to
Will
give.
try,
Yeah,
will try.
yeah. Um, I want to first make sure I say this and emphasize this because I've been there. It can and it does get better. Even though I know I don't feel like it in the moment and at that time, it can and it does get better.
Like when you talk about this stuff, like you go back to that moment. I've been very lately very open and transparent. Not graduating grad school was hard. Uh, Receiving that news, and I was like on like a Zoom call, so we're like still in the midst of the pandemic, and like, you're not gonna graduate. My world just, it literally went dark, and I did have an item nearby that I could have seriously harmed myself, and I was in my office with the door closed, mind you. And I was just like, I, I don't know what to do. And there are still moments where I still cry about that day, and it happened, what, like 2 years ago? And I'm still like, it's like, wow, I feel like I failed myself. And I did. I failed life. I failed the competition that I was striving for. And that was like, even though it was on me, that was like a huge letdown. Like, how do I get up and I do the next day? I didn't know how. I'm gonna tell you the truth. I was like in bed for like 3 days, and I just couldn't get out of bed. I couldn't talk to anybody. And unfortunately, that day, my coworker and a friend, I was able to text that friend and my coworker, who was right next to me in that office. My world spiraled, and that right there is a dangerous place to be. And it took me a long time to come out of that, to even like talk about that. And I want to bring awareness that it's okay to talk about it
It
with
is.
whoever you talk to about.
It is. Wow. Um, First of all, I'm so glad that you're still here. Um, I can't imagine how you were feeling when you say your world spiral. That is a real thing. It's very real. And sometimes you don't feel like you have the tools, you don't feel like you have the strength that you need to get through whatever that thing is at that time.
That moment,
Yeah. Yeah. You said something that was very powerful. You said you had a coworker and a friend that you were able to contact. Thank God for them. You know, because sometimes that's all it really takes
two people,
for
one person.
just someone there, someone around. They don't even have to be someone like super close to you, your best friend, your parent, or it doesn't have to be that. Just someone's presence or
Who's
um
nearby?
like, just close by that could prevent or help talk you through or just console you for the time being. And I know, for some people, um it's a stranger. It's just someone that just happened to be there at that time. Sometimes it's just someone smiled at you, someone gave you an encouraging word, didn't even know you needed it, had no idea where you were mentally. And I believe, me personally, I believe those are divine intervention moments sent by God. Someone just there. Hey, I know, but it's gonna be okay. It don't feel like it. It's not okay right now. I got that, but it will. Just stay with me. Um, I really appreciate you sharing. Like, your experience, your it's fresh, honestly. Like
So
2 years ago, and
like I'm smiling, but like yo, I still cry. I still cry like it was yesterday. Because I can. It's like a snapshot to that moment, and I go back every time.
was you grieving that?
Ooh,
You're grieving what could have, what you thought.
what my life could have been, where I would have been, who I would have been. Ha- I could have had MSW attached to my name. And every time I look at my name and it's not attached to my email signature, hearts go crazy. And even if it was on me, it still hurt.
Of course, of course. You know, I don't believe that we are supposed to suffer a lifetime for mistakes or choices that we made that maybe we're not proud of. I don't. And I know and I recognize that some decisions that we make in life do impact the rest of our life. I get that. But I don't believe that we are supposed to stay stuck in that. I don't. I don't believe that we are supposed to beat ourselves up and relive it over and over and over, but I get that it is part of the process. It is part of the grieving process. We talked about in the other episode grief and how there's 7 stages. I think we neglected to mention that you jump
There is
and
no.
sometimes you go back, like it's not a linear line where like, oh, you're just gonna go straight and you're gonna, okay, I'm good now. No, that is not reality. Sometimes, sometimes you back up. You have those moments, those times, those days where you revisit what happened and it's back again. And I hate that. I do. But that is part of it. I wish that, I could snap and we didn't have to deal with that. But that is just not the reality of the situation. That's just not life. Life is hard. Sometimes life is hard. And I think becoming an adult, becoming 30 has made me realize that even more. Like, wow, you are probably gonna go through some stuff.
True.
I know for me, probably the hardest time in my life was right after I graduated. Um, I graduated, I moved to a new state, I started a new job, and it was supposed to be a good time of celebrating big girl panties, like you're doing it. Got my own place, so no roommates or anything like that. And it was a milestone. It was a big deal. Um, but nobody prepared me for what that kind of change
Would feel
would
like
really look like. Um, and I don't think people talk about that period enough. Um, because wow, when you talk about growing pains and you talk about a transition, that is probably one of the most pivotal ones in our lives. So not everyone goes to college. I get that. And not everyone has the same story. But when it comes to me, I was not prepared. I was mentally not prepared. I have never lived alone. I'd always lived with my family, and then I went to college, and you have your roommates and your dorm mates, and then, if you're dating or a relationship, you have friends, you have your people. I was never alone. Never. Um, and you have that like ongoing for a good 4 years, and in my case 5 years, and then boom,
That
all of a
switch.
sudden it changes and nobody's there. Don't get me wrong, like my family, they call and they check on me, like we're close with my mom and my brother, like my grandparents, like they were there for me. It's not like that, but they wasn't there. They
Just
wasn't
there.
there. And I was I was going through a lot at work. I was thrown off. I was just in shock. I was in shock. I couldn't believe that my first ever work experience, like this is what I was experiencing. I was having a really hard time adjusting, and the people there did not make it easy. I felt so isolated as the only deaf person there. I just felt so left out. There was a lot of intentional things done that were very hurtful. And I'm not here to discuss those things, but there was a lot of people that made a very lasting impression on me, and not in a good way. And to keep having to show up and go and be around people that are triggering and hurting you for a paycheck, because you have bills.
And you're
So you
tired.
have
And
to,
you're
you
tired.
have
Really.
to that I was battling that, because I was getting through it as best I could, and then it was getting to that point where I was just like, I don't know how long I'm gonna keep being able to do this. Like, I just, I never would have thought that I would have gotten to that point, but I remember vividly after a while of struggling and just feeling like struggling. And don't get me wrong, I was praying, not consistently, because I was starting to like stop doing that. And I think that's one thing that I want to call out too. When we are going through something and we're hurt and we're feeling depressed, or we're not in the best mental space, oftentimes things like prayer and talking with God, we feel like we repel it, like we don't want to. We become angry, or we just feel like, no, I don't want to. Like, and I want to say that is a natural human response. It's a very natural human response. Like, because you want to isolate yourself from everyone and everybody, including God, for me. And it was like I was praying, and it was like nothing was changing. It was still very much happening. Like, honestly, it was lightweight bullying at work. It really was. And on top of like feeling so alone, and like had friends in college, but that was changing. Our relationship was going away, and that was hard to face too. Like, it felt
At the
like
same time.
at the same time, just felt like everything was just falling apart. And I just was like, I'm not solid enough for this. I'm not built for this. I can't handle this. It's too much for me. Like, emotionally, it was too much. And I came home from work, and I was depleted. I didn't have anything left. And I was like, I'm going to get in the tub. I'm just going to get in the tub. And while I was in the tub, I thought about it. I thought about it long and hard. I thought about it for a very long time. Um, and it wasn't the first time I thought about it. And I thank God I didn't do it. But I've been there and I thought about it. Um, Luckily, There was a person that was in my life, and that person at that time, I was able to share how I was feeling with them, and they did not judge me. They listened, and they did their best to support me however they could. And for that, I will forever appreciate them. Forever. Um, and that was a big part of just helping. Like, I wasn't eating. I didn't even like, I didn't even draw my own tub water. Like that person, they really just took over and was like doing a lot of things for me because I was mentally checked out and I couldn't bring myself to do basic things anymore.
It's normal. It's very normal human response, and you don't think about those like little things that you do daily, but those responses are normal. Like I can't get dressed. Hard.
Yeah. Yeah. You neglect yourself and you start feeling like, why even show up? Why? For what?
For what?
For what?
A paycheck? What?
Like, what am I doing? Why am I here?
Mhm.
I had a lot of questions of like, why am I here? What am I doing? What is all of this for? What's next? Is this what it's going to keep being? Because I can't do this much longer. I had a lot of thoughts, very, very real thoughts. And like, this is very raw. Like, I'll tell you, I was in that headspace for a few months. Um, And the interesting thing that, for me, and I think this is probably true for other people too, even when you are feeling or experiencing suicidal thoughts, you can still have good moments. You can still laugh. You can still, smile. Oftentimes people do, and they hide it very well.
That's
And from the outside looking in, you wouldn't know. You wouldn't know. No, people didn't know. That person knew, and I believe, if my memory serves me correctly, I did tell my mom, and like, but like, people didn't know.
and
No,
like you can post a picture and you're smiling, but you really you're smiling.
they have no idea that you were thinking about like ending it all not too long ago. Like, this is real. This is real. You walk past people, and that's where they are. And that's why I say, like, even for my personal experience of like in the workplace, and not just that, I had other components that were impacting my friendships, my life changing, moving to a new state, new place, know nobody, have no social life. Just it was a lot. I was struggling to like pick up things and learn things. It wasn't school, it's work. Excuse me. So that was a shift too. Like, I'm not a student, I'm a worker now. Being in one place for 8+ hours, that's not what school and college looks like.
Yeah.
Um, it was a lot. Trying to navigate that as a deaf person, as a deaf woman, as a black deaf woman, my experience, some of the things that I saw, a lot of it was related to my deafness, not all of it. Some of it was related to my blackness, some related to the fact that I was a woman. Um, it
You
was
know,
it was a lot for me
it's like a lot. It's a lot to just like.
to face that. How do you navigate that? Learning to advocate and speak up for yourself, but
Ooh,
at the same time, be careful because
you don't
it
want to
is a job.
yo.
Just feeling like, everything in me wanted to scream. I couldn't take it. I couldn't.
You bring up really like hard points. You see like articles or like TV shows talk about it, how people of color just kind of lash out at work. It's because they got to that point. They
Oh,
got
it
to that
builds up.
they're like, oh, I can't do this anymore. I can't do this anymore. And then you explode because it's like, what? Like how much can a person take again and again and again? It's like, mm, I can't. I can't. That's really the end of that sentence. I can't take it anymore.
Especially when it's so obvious, it's so apparent. It's not even subtle. It's not even hidden. It's just like, and I think the part that really was just messing me up was dang, like all of y'all.
Feel that way about me?
And I was young, so I was like
Fresh out of college.
22, 22. I just graduated. I was 22. Yeah, I wasn't emotionally, mentally prepared
Mhm.
to navigate those situations. And let's face it, there are people that age and older who are experiencing those things and they still don't know how to navigate that. And I just want to emphasize nobody should have to experience that ever. It's not okay. It's not okay. And I mean, you don't know what someone is dealing with at home or in their head. And then you act like that when they come to work and they have to spend 8 hours or more around you. Like, why? Why? Why are you picking? Why are you making someone's life more difficult or miserable? Why would you do that? That's
What
sick. That's sick.
what for?
It's
And
sick.
I said this in the beginning of the episode. These battles are silent, which means you could. I may look okay, but I
But I'm
promise you
not.
not. And you're like, you're white.
You're adding to it. And like you said, people explode. People explode. Because like you said, you can only take so much.
So much.
But yeah, I did eventually get to a better place. And it took me some time. It took me some time. It was not overnight. I didn't, hear one person say one thing or one prayer and then I was back at it and I'm good. No. No. It took some time. It
Really.
took a lot of love, support, and courage within myself. It took some like resilience on my part to say, as much as I don't want to, I'm not going to give up. And that was hard. And sometimes not giving up was just, I'm going to actually eat today.
I'm gonna get
It's,
dressed.
it's, it's little things, okay? Don't push yourself too much. If you can just show up for yourself just a little bit, that's enough.
Mhm.
That is enough. If all you can do, like you said, is get dressed today, that's okay.
Or like the first time you take a shower in 3 days, that's okay. Because taking a shower sometimes hard. It's like, oh, it's a task, and when you're already emotionally drained, it's like getting in the shower to work, turning on that water hard.
Yeah, well, it's the way I see it. It's an act of self love, and it's hard to do that when you don't feel that way in that moment. So it's radical, honestly, for you to brush your teeth and for you to bathe and for you to put on some clothes and feed yourself. Like that's radical. Like when everything in you is like, no, you still and you do it anyway.
You did
Be
that.
proud of you. Be proud of you. And if that's all you can do for a little while, I want you to know that is okay. That is okay. I'm proud of you because I was there.
You
I
did
was
it.
there. I
Yeah.
was there.
And
Um,
if you're like currently still struggling, that's okay. Because, like I said, it took me a minute to be okay. And to even talk about my situation took me 2 years. That's okay.
mhm.
I'm
Yeah,
better now, like here, than I was.
I'm better. I'm better. And I want to say this. That was probably the first time in my life where I felt that way. It was not the last. It was not the last. I've had other moments. It wasn't as severe as that one. I've had other moments where I was like, you know what? I'm mentally checked out. I'm done. Done. I don't want to do this no more. I don't. I'm tired. My soul. I'm emotionally, mentally, physically, spiritually. I'm tired. I'm tired. I have those moments. I do. And I'm sure the audience has been there, done that too. I want to say this: life is like, it's full of ups and downs. You know, it is not stable. It's not. Life has some terrible moments.
It does.
You're going to have loss. You're going to have layoffs, have car accidents. There's so many things that can and do happen in life. It is not always going to be perfect. It's not. It's not always going to feel good. And that's why I'm saying when those times come, you can't really prepare for them, but just know that that's part of life. Those times will come. Like in the Bible, it says hard times, they're coming. They're promised. They come. They do. But you have to find ways, somehow, some way. And that looks different for everyone. So I'm not telling you you have to do it one way, my way, this way. No, please don't take it that way. But you have to find a way, some way to keep going. Keep going. Because we are all here for a reason. I believe that. That is a firm belief. We're all here for a reason. We have a purpose. We have a purpose inside of us. And every day that you wake up, you have an opportunity. You have an
Right.
opportunity. Try again. Don't give up. Don't give up. I'm telling you, I remember there were moments where like after that time, maybe like a month, 2 months in, I would have these random moments where I'd be outside and I'd see like the sunshine and just a beautiful day, or I'd see a beautiful couple walking by, or I'd see children playing, or just like beautiful things that made me like, I'm so glad I'm still here. Like it was little things like that for me where I thought to myself, nobody knew. I just thought to myself like, wow, I could not be here right now. Like I'm so glad that I'm here to see this, to experience, to have this beautiful moment like of appreciation. Those moments, those times, they're coming. They will come. I can't tell you how long you're gonna feel how you feel. I can't tell you like I don't have the answer for that. I don't. But I do believe that he does. And I believe that if you just keep going and just keep talking to him, like prayer, honestly, y'all, to remove this stigma, prayer is just a conversation between you and God. And it is not perfect. And it doesn't have to be. It is raw. You can tell him exactly how you feel. I'm not feeling this. I don't have it. I don't know how I'm going to do this. I'm lost. I'm confused. I'm angry with you. That is a prayer. And that's okay. Have it or meditate or whatever it is that you need to do. I'm not going to tell you what you need to do. I'm just telling you, please do something. Please do something. Whatever you can do, do something. Because I want you to stay here. I want you here. I do.
No, I want to say this. There are resources available to you. There are 988 hotlines, which is suicide hotline.
Talk
And
to
now
someone.
for the African community, they have VP option as well.
You can
Where you
call, you can text.
call, text, call.
Yep.
Someone's right there with you. I'm gonna say this is just something I attended to a long time ago when I was in high school. I think I brought it up briefly in one of our episodes. I went to Challenge Day, and one of the speakers, the students, like, speak, and he said, "You know what? I know that moments in life are hard, but I promise you, call somebody. I promise you, someone's gonna pick up the phone. Someone's gonna be on the other end of that phone. And if you don't have someone to call you, I'm gonna give you my number so you can call me. Because we can't be losing people out here. There's always someone that's gonna be willing to pick up the phone. And maybe it's not the first person that you call. Maybe it's the second or the third. But I promise someone's gonna pick up the phone. And if you don't feel comfortable talking to a trusted person that you do know because you don't want them to know your most darkest feelings, that's okay. That's what the 988 hotline is for. It's anonymous, and it's for you. And it's
That's right.
available at Zeddy.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
That's
Yeah.
real.
It's real. It's real. Because, like you said, we can't be losing people out here.
Yeah,
And I'm telling you, like, when I'm hearing about the babies, the children,
they're getting young. 10,
breaks my
11,
heart.
12. I'm like, oh my God.
Breaks my heart.
Like, y'all, please. You you have moments to live for. And I was like, I was like maybe 30. And I had that dark moment.
Yeah. But
And
you lived some life, you know what I mean? Like we didn't live a little bit of life. We got plenty more to go. But
yes,
like 9,
that moment was hard. So if you're
13,
at 9,
7,
10, it's like, babe, I promise you, it does get better.
does
Now, there are moments of darkness, and they come in the night with
come.
moments of darkness. So, like, and like I said, if you're listening, if you're 9, you're 7, you're 8, you're 10, you're 40, you're 50, I promise you, someone's there to listen. And I want to bring up another point of Challenge Day. Teachers were required to attend to the part of the Challenge Day, and there was a teacher there, and he was there. The next day, on Challenge Day, I tried to sit outside of homeroom, and he came up to me and he said, "You know, every day I see you and I walk by, and you smile. You don't say nothing, but you smile." He was like, "I want you to know that that really saved me." I was in high school and I was a teacher, and just smiling was my way of saying hi because I didn't know who he was. He wasn't my teacher. But I just smiled, and that's it. And that right there, acts of kindness. People need that.
They do, because you never know what someone is going through. Like, be nice to people, y'all. Be
You know,
nice. They don't cost you nothing. You don't gotta be rude. You don't gotta be nasty. You know,
you know,
like
bashing people.
people battling like real battles up here in here, and they
Yeah,
don't need it. They don't need you adding to that. I promise you.
bashing people. Don't do it. Don't do it.
No, all
Avoid.
in the name of what, comedy or stop, stop.
or because they have a different perspective of you. Okay, that's what POV means. My perspective, your perspective. Respect, respectfully, respect,
Respectfully.
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 If you don't like my opinion, that's okay.
That's
It's
fine.
mine.
Keep it moving. Keep it moving.
You know what I'm saying?
We gotta practice. We
Mhm.
gotta practice like maturity, people, and kindness and thoughtfulness, consideration. Like
Yeah.
if you was in that person's shoes, how would you feel? What would you like? What would you appreciate? And
Whoa.
then do that.
You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
feel like I know this doesn't even need to be said, but acts of kindness, it's free, babe. It's free.
Free 99. Free. And if
Free.
you don't got it on you, keep it moving. You don't gotta say nothing. You don't gotta do nothing. Leave
If you
that person alone. Leave them alone.
have nice
Leave them
say
alone. Leave
that
them alone.
you have nothing nice to say, don't say it.
Say it.
Don't say
Don't.
it.
Don't. Because I wish that people that I was dealing with and interacting at that time would just leave me alone.
Mhm,
Honestly. Just leave me alone.
mhm.
And I will say this, sometimes when you're in moments like that, or a period of time like that, you have a tendency to turn to things that are harmful. And for everyone, that's different. Some people it's smoking or smoking. Some people it's drinking. Some people it's gambling. Some people, it's porn. There's so many different vices out there. So many different things that people use to comfort themselves. Some people, it may be cutting. There's many different things that people turn to try to comfort or self-soothe. And I'm just encouraging you, please don't. I know I know how easy it is to fall into that trap. I've been there, done that. And it's so easy. And when you're down and when you're feeling low, when you're just feeling like you just want the pain to go away, you want an instant something to just make it go away. You don't want to think about it. You don't want to deal with it. You don't want to have to face it. But when you are doing those things, once the high is done, once the buzz is gone, once the pain from that cut is gone, you are left with the problem still. So I'm encouraging you to find other outlets for release, other avenues for soothing, positive, healthy things. Um, please, please, I don't want you to harm yourself any more than what you're already going through, because it takes a mental turmoil on you, and your mental health is like a domino effect. So you start to see it manifests itself physically too sometimes. Stress and depression and suicidal thoughts and feelings, they start to like show themselves in your body physically sometimes.
No,
Mm.
I will say this. Like, sorry, my dog. I will say this. Like, every moment, like, in your, like, healing journey and you're figuring out how to navigate, self-harming is normal in that process. So when you are ready to get and receive help, support, reach out to someone. You can say, I don't want to do this anymore. But I've been doing this, but I don't want. So when you're ready, that's okay. It doesn't have a timeline, you know? It
Yeah,
it could take you years to get out of something.
I can.
Take you weeks to get out of something.
I can.
Self-harming is normal. And it's okay that it takes you time. But when
I want
you
to emphasize it's okay if it takes you time, but I don't want to say it's okay for you to self harm because, that's causing harm. Like, I don't want to reinforce the behavior. I want to
I'm
acknowledge
not,
it. I
I'm
want to
not.
acknowledge it. Like, I get it. I get why. I understand why. I don't want you to continue. And yes, like Tori was saying, like, when you've had enough and you're ready to like receive the help, like, please do. But I don't want to send like that wrong,
Like message.
yeah, yeah.
Self-harming does
It
happen.
happens.
I
It
don't want
happens.
to look down on it. It
Right.
happens, and
That's
it's
right.
normal.
That's right.
But
That's
when you're
right.
ready to receive help, go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you don't know where, our DMs are open.
That's right.
We have resources. We'll have them ready.
And
We'll
we
have
were sharing them. Yeah.
we'll have them pinned in the comments too.
Yeah.
Just reach out to someone. And if
Mm.
you're not ready to reach out to someone professional, we're here.
Yeah. Um, I hope that this episode has helped at least one person, even if the only thing you got from this was, wow, I'm not alone.
Yeah. You know.
Because you're not. I promise you, you're not. You are not.
Mhm.
And I just, like she said many times, we are here. We want to share the resources. We want to share the support. We want to share the love. Let you know, like, you're not alone. It's love, baby. It's love,
Okay.
baby. It's love, baby. We got you, okay? You know, and this was a heavy conversation. Um, and I think this is a good place for us to wrap it up now.
Mm-hmm.
How you feel? Yeah,
Yeah, this is a good place to wrap up.
yeah,
And honestly, if we need to continue the conversation, let us know how.
yeah, yeah,
So, what do you think? We're ready?
yeah. We're ready. So, as you already know, until next time, bye.
Bye.